get to educate yourself. It could lead to some wealth. The respective angle show. Tell a friend, let them know. Whoa,
Hey,
come on,
turn
let's
this
go.
shit up.
It's time for the Respective Angle Show with your hosts, AJ is Live and AJ.
We roll very, very deep here at Brooklyn Science and Engineering Academy. I'm Angela DeFilippis, the principal of the Brooklyn Science and Engineering Academy, where Cade was a student. I'd like to thank Ms. Lewin and the Lewin family for allowing us to provide our tribute today. And here is the BC family. As educators, we let students into our school every single year, not knowing who they are or who they will become. We get to know them, we love them, and we get to see their stories written right before our very eyes. We deal with stories a lot in middle school. We read them, we write them, we analyze them, we tell them. In some cases, we make them up. We deal with stories all of the time, and we learn what makes a story a story. And eventually, students come to learn that a story is not one moment. It is a collection of moments that comes together to deliver a message to anyone who is looking for it. Cade was writing his story, and as members of the BC community, we had the opportunity and the privilege to watch that work unfold. And now we have the opportunity to reflect back on it. To hear it from his teachers, Cade's story was one of hard work and effort, of a willingness to show up and to try. To hear it from his classmates, he was a great friend, he was loyal, he was there for laughter and for fun. He delivered his message not through grand gestures, but just by being himself. So I have a small story. A few weeks ago, I was in my office, tip-tapping on the computer like a principal does, and Cade walked in with a big smile on his face. I smiled back. He smiled bigger. We were in a smiling contest. I was losing. I'm saying to myself, I don't think he's here for my winning smile. I glanced over my shoulder and saw a bucket of Twizzlers there. And I asked him, hey, Cade, would you like one? And he said, yes, I would. Thanks, miss. I said, sure. And off he went to class. And I sat there with the smile still on my face. And that was Cade's story, to leave a trail of happiness in his wake. There you go. Even though I lost the smiling contest, he made everyone's life happier. Happier than it was before they came upon him. And then, unexpectedly, his story was a great story. Then unexpectedly, monsters crept into the pages of his story and robbed us. But we know that a story is not one memory. His story is not his death, it's his life. It's the message that he gave us, and it's the way in which he wanted us to live. And from his classmates, Cade is Cady. He is playing football, hanging out with friends, playing Roblox and Xbox. He is oxtail, curry goat, and candy. He is ELA and social studies. He is his mother, his brothers, and Jamaica. He is successful, determined to do well in school, and committed to taking care of his family. He is Cade Ashton Tyler Lewin. As his principal, I was blessed to have him in my life for 2 years. And although I was not as close to his fire as his family and friends, I was able to feel the warmth of his flame. I will make sure that that flame is alive in the halls of the Brooklyn Science and Engineering Academy. His story will live on.
And I'm saying to all of us who are here today that are walking around with our guns, with our Uzi and our Glock, we need to save our children. A young police officer, a young astronaut, a scientist, a doctor, a lawyer, a judge is laying down before us on today because someone is saying that young life does not matter and life does not matter. We marched the other day and we said Black Life Matters. But is this our result when we march, that Black Life Matters? It matters when we lay down in the casket. I'm saying to us here today, we need to let go. We need to begin to unpack. Look to your neighbor and said, let's unpack. We need to unpack the retaliation, the vengeance, the ego, the anger, the revenge. We need to unpack and let it go. Somebody said, let it go. Somebody's here today is saying, if I only could get to the person who did this, oh, hallelujah, there will be another funeral. But somebody has said, let it go. Oftentimes when we go to a funeral, when someone died, we always see a sign that said RIP. But in order for us to RIP, we must first LIP. Oh, you don't get it. In order for us to rest in peace, we must live in peace. And in order for us to live in peace, we must unpack. And we must allow the Prince of Peace